Okay, now we'll test the machine with the auto tune. This machine doesn't have any timers, so I'll be using a push button box with the momentary button. As long as I hold that button down, it'll be attempting to run a cycle. However, if the arc suppressor or the overload triggers, the relay will chatter because I'm holding a button down to cycle it. So that'll help explain some of the chatter sound you might hear. Okay, so here we go. This is the push button box right here, and if we hit it, you can see we've got plate grid and our light lighting up, and we're at 30% power. You can hear the auto tune running, and you can see it moving there. Drops down automatically. When I end the cycle, it pops up. Here's manual controls. Okay. And I can go down, or I can bring it up. And we probably just welded that plastic. So auto tune looks like it's functioning properly. We have power. Probably burn this plastic. But let's go to 50%, see what happens. Okay, let's try 70%, see what happens. And you can see we got our grid meter just stuck because it's hanging up in there for some reason. Let me turn it up a little bit more. We'll hit it again. Okay, and you can see this grid meter sticking again. So now we'll do an overload and an arc suppressor test by turning off the power tap. And again, it's going to chatter, but the important part is that it attempts to kick out this light. So start the cycle and trigger the overload, and you can hear it trying to drop out. Okay, and then here's the arc suppressor. Arc suppressor latches, so it'll be a little bit different. But you can see the arc suppressor was on its way up, but the meter just got stuck again. Here we go. Cycle short, and you can see it shoots up, but can't really do its job with that bad meter. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is just take a look at the frequency and see what it's doing. Take a little power for that, of course. At 27.3. And if you notice, that meter didn't move again. So now I've got it on camera where I'm experiencing this meter not responding. And I believe I know what's the issue. So I think the plate meter problem is related to these the leads that drive the meter needle. Even though the screws are tight, the leads are like loose, and you can see the other ones aren't that way. If I jiggle them, they are not free to move up and down where these are, although they're tight, and they're tight on the terminal. So in other words, I can't tighten this up anymore. I think that's why it doesn't respond sometimes. When it didn't respond, I was able to bump this and get it to start working again. So pretty sure about that one. Alright, I just wanted to mention some of the things that we replaced or repaired in the machine. We repaired this arc suppressor chassis, the arc suppressor, frankly I can't remember what it was doing at the time, but it had problems, so we've replaced it and tested it. We replaced these two diode boards. Here's the diode boards it came with, and you can see how overheated they are. You can see it's not the color of the material, but it's because you can see where the heat really hit it harder as it rose from the diodes. But I went ahead and replaced those two. Now the machine still ran the same with these in it, so I'm gonna send these back to you. I think this is probably a pretty ongoing problem that you had This would be the coil that goes in by the tuning plates, and you could see by the damage to the clamp that it probably was arcing for a little while there. Also, let's see, these relays were brown. You know, literally the inside looks brown. So I replaced those. There was a couple wires. These were attached up here above the diode boards, one on this end, and so these two guys had overheated, probably along with those diode boards at the same time, so took the liberty to replace those. And then this is interesting. When I was running it with the top cover off, I noticed that there was a spark that was occurring between the lug and the generator every once in a while, and I went ahead and replaced that. In fact, this lug will only turn a little bit and won't. Okay, we're going to do some tests on this machine. Alright, we're at 0 power here. I'll run through a cycle and goes through its heat and cool cycle. So what we'll do this time is we'll short the arc suppressor, and you can see the needle pegged and the light went out. It's about how long the cycle is. I'll do it again where I short it out, and you can see the arc suppressor fire. Okay, this time I'll manually trigger the overload relay. The red light went off. There's no buzzers on this machine, unfortunately, to hear. Do it again. Trip the overload relay, and you can see the red light went out immediately. Okay, so let's go ahead and give it 10% power. And you can see the light lights up, and we have gridded plate current. Power, and we're heating up that plastic. Go up a little bit more. Okay, and let's see what our frequency is here. 27.1. Okay, sorry, I didn't realize that the frequency counter was out of the frame. So we'll do it again so you can see the frequency. 27.2. 27.2. And then at 70%, 27.19.